right, good afternoon. Thank everyone for coming out. Hope you're staying warm. There is one item moving forward for spring football that I wanted to bring up that was asked in the previous press conference and wanted to give you a little more concrete of an answer. Dustin asked the question last time about injuries and individuals who'd be out for spring football. So I do have that list for you. It's going to be a challenge this spring football. We have many individuals that will be rehabbing injuries, but we all fully anticipate them being ready for August camp. But the individuals who miss spring football is Derek Barnett, Darren Kirkland, Danny O'Brien, Kyle Phillips, Jason Kroom, and a possibility of Alex Ellis. So as you can see, we're very, very limited, especially in a defensive front. And for the development of our football team, that's going to be a great challenge because it affects the offense and our ability to continue to develop our offensive line. And then a number of individuals who had injuries or surgeries throughout the course of the season will be limited. And those will be Marquez North, Jalen Hurd, Chance Hall, Charles Mosley, Dylan Bates, Corey Vereen, and Rashawn Golden. We fully anticipate them going through spring practice, but they'll be limited in some aspect or another as we move forward with our 15 practices, and then obviously with the conclusion of the orange and white game. So we have to be creative in our practice structure and how we develop this football team and moving forward. But the real reason why we're here today, obviously, is the hiring of our offensive coordinator and Mike DeBord. Just like in recruiting, we had a profile that we were looking for in our offensive coordinator. You heard me talk about the right fit. I think the right fit, that term is all-encompassing for what we are looking for. And not any one in particular order, but first of all was knowledge and experience. I wanted an individual who could walk into that room and fix the problems of the entire offense, know what they're looking for. So that knowledge and experience was a big factor in this hiring. I wanted to fit with the staff and the players. We spend so much time together. Our program is built off the core value of family, and we spend about 80 to 90 hours together during the course of a season. I wanted to make sure we had that comfort level with our staff, but also with our players. And when you talk about our players, I wanted a teacher and a fundamentalist. I wanted an individual who could teach the fine details of what it takes to play winning football at a very, very high level. And I wanted an individual that understood fundamentals. And to me, that was very important in moving forward. Also, I wanted an individual who had been around the development of quarterbacks, who could develop quarterbacks, but also I wanted multi-positional development. An individual who, over the course of their career, had worked with numerous positions on offense. I just think in order to fix the problems, to correct the problems, to continue to grow and develop as an offensive staff, I needed somebody who was an expert in all those phases and the different positions of playing offensive football. Then I wanted creativity. I wanted an individual who could be on the cutting edge of playing football, that had creativity, whether it's formations, whether it's personnel groupings, whether it's motions, whether it's blocking angles, whether it's run schemes. There's a lot that goes into defining creativity. One of the interview questions I asked Mike is about creativity, and he gave the NFL answer that I was hoping for. Is part of creativity is creating matchups, creating one-on-one matchups, getting our best player and letting them go to work and being able to put them around the field to force those one-on-one matchups. And that's something that he took from Mike Holmgren and a number of other coaches that he has obviously worked for throughout his career. I wanted trust and I wanted character. Everything in life is about trust. Everything in life is about character. I wanted an individual who I knew that I could trust. And then the ability to recruit. As we all know, recruiting is very, very important. Good players make good coaches. And I wanted a relentless pursuit of recruiting, which we talk about. And Mike has demonstrated that over his career. And then lastly, I wanted an individual who could manage and direct a staff. as a coordinator, you're really the head coach of that side of the football. And so the ability to manage, direct, lead, motivate a staff, but also develop leadership and motivation on a side of the ball, which a coordinator is able to do. I went coast to coast around the country, interviewed many qualified candidates. I will not discuss the names today of any of the individuals we interviewed, just out of respect for them in their current jobs and their institutions, but there was a high demand for this job. It was a very coveted position, and very rightfully so for what we're building here at Tennessee. But at the end of the day, Mike DeBord was the right fit. I wanted an individual who could come in, understand our terminology system, understand our coaching staff, and look to enhance our offense, not rebuild our offense. Our offense does not need to be rebuilt. It needs to be enhanced. And I think a lot of people don't understand it takes continuity, it takes consistency to win. And for us, being in year 3 of our football program, to bring in an entire new offensive system, not only is it new for the coaches and how they're teaching it, but it's new for your players. So at this time of the year, it's all about skill development and working on being a fundamentalist and improving the fine details of your game. Now all of a sudden you're installing a new offense, and that's extremely challenging, and I didn't want to go down that path. I hear the term spread offense. If anybody can give me the definition of spread offense, I'm all up for it. I think it's the most misused term in all of football. I think it rivals the term of the West Coast offense. I don't know if people think you're in the gun, you're a spread offense. I don't know if it's personnel. I don't know if it's no huddle. If you remember on December 7th when I stepped forward to that podium and the question was asked about your offensive system, I said we're going to be an up-tempo, no-huddle offense that could control the tempo and be a pro-style offense with the ability to gain advantages through motions, through shifts, through speed, through play of or pace. The ability to create space and pace, but also the ability to run the football. Growing up, when I heard the term spread offense, right away you thought of a finesse offense. And we'll never be a finesse offense here at the University of Tennessee. We're going to have attitude run plays within our scheme, but, so everyone uses the term spread offense. I don't think anybody truly understands the true definition, because every individual spread offense means something different. So, again, we're excited to have Coach DeBord. We've gone through a week of meetings. He walked into the offensive staff on Monday, and we didn't miss a beat, right into our quality control, and that was great to see. So I'm excited to introduce to you today the offensive coordinator of the University of Tennessee, the proudest football program in the country, your offensive coordinator, Mike DeBord.
Thanks, Butch. I just want to tell everybody here and basically Vol Nation that I am, and I told the players this, I think I'm the happiest I've ever been, and I'm truly excited. I get to do what my passion is, and that is to be a football coach at the college level and to be a coordinator. I think there's different types of coaches. There are people that maybe want to be a head coach. There's people that maybe only want to be a coordinator. There's people who want to be position coaches, and that's all great. But my true passion in coaching is to coordinate an offense. And for Butch to give me this opportunity, for Tennessee to give me this opportunity, again, I'm thrilled, excited, and we're at it full speed right now. So I'll be glad to take any questions.
Butch, for you first, how important was it, not just the comfort that you speak of in the meeting rooms and things like that, but how important was it that you were comfortable with Mike and your offense?
Well, that was important, but it wasn't so much myself, it was the staff and our players. Everything is about our players first and foremost, is bringing in an individual who could relate to them, teach them the fine details, be able to relate, but also have credibility. You know, when you look at Mike's track record as a coordinator, I believe he's won over 82% of his games. He's won a national championship. He was the National Assistant Coach of the Year. He's coached in the National Football League. He's been around some great quarterbacks. All you have to do is spend 5 minutes talking to Tom Brady, and you'll understand what Mike DeBord meant to Tom Brady. So I think all those things went hand in hand, but having that familiarity, having worked for Mike, having worked with Mike, was paramount for me. I understand what he's all about, and a lot of the things that we do at Tennessee stem from Mike DeBord. And a lot of people don't realize this, but our formational system, the way we call things, was designed with Mike DeBord and our staff at another institution. So again, it's really like riding a bike. And for him to come in, and we've gained so much ground just this past week, and really the quality control of our offense and moving forward, and like I said, looking to enhance that. But that comfort level was big, but not just for me, but our entire staff, and first and foremost, our players.
Mike, you talked about your passion for being a coordinator. You haven't been a coordinator since 2007, haven't been in college since 2007. Do you think there'll be a learning curve and adjustment getting back into college, and what do you think is maybe the biggest area in which college football's changed since you were last in it?
It's a great question, and there's been periods of times I coordinated, and I understand it was Division II, but I coordinated really, I would say, a spread offense then, where we were all one back. We led the nation in passing. We had a 1,000-yard rusher. We ran the quarterback on option and draws, things like that. So we had a version of that. And then I went to the 90s, 97, when I started coordinating again, and we won the national championship that year. And then 2006, I coordinated again, and we were going into the last game of the year, we were second in the country. So there's been windows of time where I've gone from coordinating positions. And I don't feel like, for me, there will be an adjustment at all. I believe in everything we're doing on offense. I believe in tempo. When Butch and I worked together at Central Michigan, we were a no-huddle, fast-tempo team. I believe in all the things we're doing here, and yet we've already, like today, we met as a staff, and we're going to make improvements that way with some plays and stuff. But I really don't believe there'll be an adjustment that way. Football is football. My 5 years in the NFL, to me, that was a clinic. That was a free clinic, and we coached 20 games a year, so that's almost 2 college seasons. So I was very fortunate, as Butch said, to be with Mike Holmgren, who I believe is one of the best offensive coaches and head coaches ever to coach in the NFL. And I was with Mike Martz, who had the greatest show on turf and was a great quarterback coach and a great coordinator too. So during that time, I took that time to study how they were calling the game. And you always learn from people. I mean, again, I continue to learn today. I mean, football is like that, and that's what I love about it. You continue to learn, but I don't see having to make, that many adjustments with anything calling the game. I've done it. I've had experience at it. I have confidence in it, and so I look forward to it.
Building off of that, Coach Jones said there are a lot of similarities between what you guys did at Central Michigan and what you're doing now. What is the same and what is different?
Well, the same is we have a head coach that's very passionate, and we have a coordinator that is passionate as well. So that didn't change, but obviously the roles did. But as far as offense is concerned, we were a tempo team. We put that in. We looked for why we did that is we looked for advantages to win, and that was one of the advantages that we felt like we needed to be a winning football team. And so we started with that, and then we ran the zone schemes there, which, obviously the spread here is zone. So those things didn't change so much. What really will change a little bit from our offense here to compared to Central Michigan is we're going to be, a one-back spread offense. We were multiple. We used 2-back and 1-back, so we were very multiple that way. So again, we'll be that way, and we're going to take everything that we've done here that they've had success with, like Butch said, and we're going to continue to move on with that. And then there's going to be little wrinkles that we add from my NFL experience that we'll add to the throw game and maybe a run here or there, but that's how it's kind of changed.
Mike, when you talk about your experience with the quarterback, just how hands-on have you been as a coordinator with the quarterback position? Looking at your resume, it looks like offensive line, tight end. But I guess how hands-on are you with that position?
That's a great question, and I was very hands-on. I knew everything the quarterbacks were doing. Just like here, I'll know what every lineman is doing right now in our skill development periods, our wide receivers, our backs, our tight ends. I will know everything they're doing technique-wise and drill-wise. And the same thing was true when I was coordinating the offense. I knew everything about that quarterback. I knew everything about his drop. I knew everything about his progression. I knew everything about his drill work. And then I met with them, and I would go over throughout the week of different situations, like first and second down. I would sit down with our quarterback at that time, and I'd say, here's the coverages we're anticipating, which they knew, the percentages, all that. And we go through every pass. So we'd break it down and say, what do you like? Is there anything you don't like? If a quarterback doesn't like it, we're not going to do it. I mean, I'm not going to force the issue. I never have done that. We're going to do what the quarterback feels comfortable doing in the throw game. So I met with them and all the way through the week, and by the end of the week, we went into game time. We were on the same page, and I think that's so critical. And then, as I mentioned, this doesn't go into the coordinating part, but to be able to study Mike Martz and Mike Holmgren with quarterback, it's just reconfirmed all the things that I believe.
How much do you lean on Nick Sheridan?
Nick Sheridan, I can give you a little background first in that Nick was a quarterback at Michigan, my last stint of being a coordinator there. And I worked with his dad at Michigan, Bill, who's now with the Detroit Lions. So I've known him and his family for a long time. So I've had that individual relationship with him. And now to get into the coaching part of it, Nick and I, we were in there last night till 10:30 going over things. And first thing this morning, I mean, he is got great knowledge. He's got a great relationship with our quarterbacks, and he and I have gone through everything, every little step, every little, could be a handoff, could be a drop. I mean, we've gone through everything so that we're on the same terminology. I mean, we believed in doing it the same way, but what is that step called? What's that next step called? And so that's got to be the same terminology in that room. And so to answer your question, Nick Sheridan is a great person and a great football coach, and one that I'm very thankful to be working with.
The last 2 seasons you've been in an administrative role. How did you kind of try to stay close to the game during that time? And did you always kind of know you'd get back into coaching, or how did that come about?
Well, my last year there, I was in charge of football as an administrator, and so I went to every practice. I sat in meetings, player-coach meetings, and I had an iPad with basically every college game on it, every pro game on it. And so I studied the game either through that situation, or I also studied offenses like, I guess I won't say the name, but a spread offense. I studied them really hard and what they did and how they attacked people. So I continued to study the game. I also, every week, at least one time a week and sometimes twice, I would call Mike Martz, and we would talk about quarterback fundamentals. We'd talk about attacking 3 deep. We'd talk about attacking man. We'd talk about cover 2, Tampa. I mean, all the coverages. We went through everything. And so I stayed in it. And also I have friends that I've talked with. A guy that is in the pros as a coordinator. He and I talked a lot. Because they are very similar offensively to what we do here at Tennessee. So I spent a lot of time with him. So I continued to study. Football is my passion. I love it. I can't get enough of it. There's so much to always learn all the time, little things that people do. So I always wanted to prepare for this. Now, after what happened when I was at Chicago and our staff was released, we were under contract, and then they went through the hiring process, so we really didn't get to look at other things, and so time went on, and it got late. So I had a year on my contract, and I'm not a guy that sits around. I have to be going and active, and so I went back to Michigan as an administrator. I was very fortunate to be able to do that. And then this past year, I was going to get into the NFL with a couple of guys that were hot guys at that time, but they both ended up going to the Super Bowl, and they both pulled out of the jobs. So they pulled out, I was pulling out, obviously. So that didn't work out. And so this year then, Obviously, this situation came about, and then I also had another opportunity. And so, I was going to get back into coaching. I didn't know when it was. I thought it was really going to occur last year, to be honest with you. But, because of situations and factors, it didn't. And I'm very thankful that I have this opportunity.
Maybe you don't think there's going to be any sort of rust factor or anything like that. You stayed close to the game.
I don't think there's any. I mean, I've gained knowledge in these last 2 years. My battery, as the players have seen, is fully charged, and no, there's no rust. It goes back to like what Butch said. It's like riding a bike. You get back on it, you start pedaling. Right now, I'm pedaling pretty fast.
Mike, it was indicated you had opportunities right now to go back to the NFL, so why the University of Tennessee?
Well, I have great respect for the guy that I had an opportunity with. Like Butch, I had worked with him, and so, again, great respect for him. And but Butch and I had a longer relationship, number one. And number two, I know this. When somebody asks you to coordinate, they're giving half their responsibility in that program to you. And I know how much that means. And I know what that's all about. And for Butch to finally ask me to be the coordinator here, I knew what that meant. I knew how much value that meant to him and me. And so that was part of it. The other part, I'll be really up front with you here, is that I missed this in pro football. Pro football, and I'm not putting it down because I had a great experience at it, and I enjoyed it. I love the guys I worked with, players, coaches, but it is business. It is, you go in, you teach football, you go to the field, you teach football, and you don't get involved with them as far as a personal relationship. And what I mean by that, if they have troubles, that's their issue. Well, what I truly missed in college coaching was taking any young man and helping them walk out being a man when they left. And that's a process. I mean, making them a better person, making them a better student, helping them that way, helping them become a better football player, all those things. And I missed that. I missed that relationship. I really did. And that's because of Butch, because of the coordinating position, and then working with college student athletes was why I wanted to be here. And also, too, Tennessee football. I mean, where it's at and where it's going, I want to be a part of this.
What I know it's very early, but just Josh Dobbs, what you see him on the field and getting deep with him, what are your initial impressions?
First of all, I think he's a great person. I watched film on him. I've watched a lot of film on him. And when I came in to interview, I think this was smart on Butch's part, but I actually was able to sit down with him and talk to them. And I found out right away how much passion he has for football. And I've watched these last couple of weeks of things we would just talk about. I didn't show him anything like that. I'd say, hey, you need to work on this or do that. And I could not believe, just in our skill development period on Wednesday, how much he's improved with his stance, with his drop, with his footwork, all those things. Now, we don't have a ball out there, so we can't throw a ball, but we're holding the cone and we're going through the drops and all that stuff. So just the improvement he's made shows me his passion for football and wanting to be a great player. So I'm really excited about working with him.
Mike, your name kind of came across the Tennessee radar once before. Could you just elaborate on that, what that was all about?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go back. We just beat Florida in the Capital One Bowl, and our staff was really excited, and Lloyd Carr had already announced he was going to retire. So I had great excitement about that, and I did not do anything about a job until that game was over. And then I was very fortunate to get a call from Coach Fulmer, and he asked me to come in to interview. I did that, and it didn't work out at that time. And I understand, and that's just the way it is. And but Coach Fulmer called me about a year later after that, and since that time, he and I have really become great friends. And we've already texted since I've been here, and he's, can't wait to see me and talk and all that. And I really gained a friend out of that, and a guy that's a heck of a football coach. So there was a lot gained that way.
When he called you a year later, did he tell you he wished he
No comment.
Can you describe your relationship with Butch Jones dating back to when he was your assistant through present day?
Yeah, I was thinking about that last night a little.
Careful or you're fired.
I always loved him. No, I was thinking about that last night a little bit, anticipating this press conference. And, you know, Butch and I actually met at a high school basketball game. I don't think it was high school at the time. My oldest son was playing basketball, and Butch was in the area recruiting, whatever, and he came to the game because he knew our quarterback coach and his son. So, and I got introduced to Butch, and only Butch and I would probably do this. We go up to the top of the bleachers and we start talking football. I mean, automatically, right in talking football, whatever. That started the relationship. And then when I was assistant at Michigan for the next 2 or 3 years, Butch would come in and work our summer camp. And every night we would be off again, going somewhere, doing something, talking football again. And I just, at that time, we started building a friendship. And I also saw the passion that he had for coaching and football. And so that's how it started. And then when I went to Central Michigan, I knew right away who my top offensive coach was going to be, and that was going to be Butch. And that's without having worked with him, and that takes a lot, I mean, to do that. So I knew he was going to be the top offensive guy, and I told him, I said, I know we're going to struggle here for a while, and I said, the first year I don't think I'll name you a coordinator, even though you'll have the responsibilities and everything like that, because we're going to be bad. So after that, I just saw his passion, his organization, his relationship with players, and I said, you know, you're the offensive coordinator, and he and I worked together, putting together game plans, game day, everything. And I kidded him the other day about this. I still have it on my laptop, but I only called one assistant in my office, and I called Butch in. I said, all right, evaluate me. And so he evaluated me, and as I said, I still have that on my laptop. I was looking at it a couple weeks ago and started laughing, but it was all good, and he was honest, and that's how much I always have respected him and valued him. To ask, when you ask somebody that's your assistant, you ask that, I mean, that's again trusting somebody.
Have you spoken with Mike DeBord at all about the offense and what you're inheriting?
Yeah, I have. Mike Bajakian, actually, I was the head coach at Central when we hired him, and the first time. And so I hired Mike and have great respect for him, again, as a person, as a coach. And the only thing I didn't talk to him about really players or anything like that. We just talked a little bit about the scheme and things like that he wanted to give me, basically. And so it was a quick conversation, whatever, but I just wanted to congratulate him, and then also, we have a great relationship. We've been friends for a long time.
How much have the two of you stayed in touch since the last time you worked together?
Butch and I?
Yeah.
All the time. I mean, since we left Central, we stayed in contact. We talked, I don't know if, I wouldn't say weekly, but it wasn't probably more than 2 weeks went by that we would talk, and we talked all the time. I mean, he would always call me and ask me questions, and then I would turn around and call and ask him questions, and it's always been a great relationship.
How much are you looking forward to matching with some of these other SEC defensive coordinators, the Kirby Smarts, the Jeremy Brooks of the world?
Well, I don't look at it like me going against them. I look at it like our team going against their team, and I understand your question about the segment part of it. But our offensive, everything offensively, I understand it's my decision in the end, but that's a staff decision as well. And so our whole staff will be putting together game plans and a way we want to attack and things like that. And so I feel great about our coaching staff right now, being in the meeting room with them, and I look forward to taking on the challenges, as you mentioned, with them.
Mike, I think about Joshua Dobbs, watching him. Have you been able to self-scout at all this week? Any early impressions?
Self-scout him?
No, or the team as a whole?
I haven't. Well, here's what I've done. I went through and I looked at Butch wanted me to look at 4 games before I came to interview, and I did that. So I really broke those 4 games down. I broke them down individually. I watched the players, then I also watched the scheme and everything, and then Butch asked my opinion. So I was able to do that. And now what I'm doing is I'm going through and we're breaking down every play. And, I mean, this is kind of funny in some ways. We took the first day, we took 2 hours, and we were looking at inside zone. And we actually took 2 hours to look basically about 5 plays. That's how slow we went. Talking about steps, talking about hand placement, talking about shoulder leverage. I mean, everything we went through. And so that's the detail we're going through right now. So to say self-scout that way, do I know our offense right now? Yes, but to say self-scout to me means, do I know how many times we've done this or that? And what we're doing is, as we go through, let's say inside zone, we've got one of our young coaches in the room, and he gives me the stats of that play right off the get-go. He'll say we've run it 80 times, we ran it for this amount of yards, this average, and then the efficiency of it. You know, we look at efficiency. How efficient was it? Because you can run it for so many yards, and you think that average 5 yards, that's a great play. Well, the efficiency of that may not be. There may be a lot of long runs in there and a lot of other plays that weren't so good. So we look at the efficiency of the play as well. So we're in that process.
Coach, from a recruiting standpoint, are you going to try to target some new areas geographically? Will it continue to be more of a nationwide approach, or you got some new places you're going to bring where you have some ties to recruiting?
Yes. In fact, we just, because I was new, we just went through the recruiting areas, and we talked about the entire United States that way, and then we talked about my areas and where I've been in those areas and where I have contacts with coaches in those areas. And so I'll be doing that. Then obviously I'll be looking at quarterbacks on a national level, and my experience with offensive line, I'll be helping Coach Mahoney with that a little bit. So that's the plan.
How much of a challenge is it knowing that your backup is going to be a true freshman if you have 3 guys to get ready for being one snap away?
Well, it's a great challenge, but what I like right now is I love the attitude of these freshmen. Their eyes are wide open, and I told Butch about our entire football team. That's one thing I've really noticed. Butch has the attention of these guys. And when those freshmen came in, I mean, we met the other day for a real short time, but I mean, they're alert, they're smart, they're asking the right questions, and so it's going to be a process. I mean, we've only had one little skill development session with them, and so every day we want to, that we can work with them, we want to continue to plan to be ready for that opener. It's a continuation all the way through the summer, everything for them to continue to develop on their own at times too. And a lot of times that's also to what your older guys can do, what they're able to help guys with, you know, on their own, because we're limited time-wise. So whatever the older guys can do to help them out, which we have a great environment that way, a great culture that way, where our older guys are helping our young guys.
Which, DeAndre Payne and Dre Bowles were named as witnesses for the grand jury in the AJ Mike case. Do you know if that had anything to do with their decision to transfer?
No, that had absolutely nothing to do with it, and it's an ongoing legal case. But you know, Dre Bowles is a great young man. We helped him find a place, and that decision was done, early in the season. And so no, absolutely not. The other thing I think that's important in moving forward is it doesn't hurt matters that, you know, 2 of Peyton Manning's closest confidants or coaches that have coached him in terms of Adam Gase and Tom Moore are both individuals who have great relationships with Coach DeBord as well. So, you know, we have numerous resources here at Tennessee when you're hiring an individual for a position such as this, the magnitude of this position. And so to be able to rely on Peyton as well, and Peyton to really have background coming from individuals that he trusts in this profession was very helpful as well.
Is there any update on Michael Williams' status? Is he still under suspension, or is there?
Yes, he's suspended indefinitely.
And Barnett, shoulder or?
Shoulder, yep.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.